This is outside of the spectrum of grieving that I have ever seen. These messages that we're about to see are real. This is actually her messaging creators asking them to talk about this case. BOZE, check your DM requests. Oh my God, this is so dystopian. This is all I know so far. This 17-year-old girl named Sarah Grace Patrick has recently been arrested for the murder of both of her parents. A lot of people that knew her parents had gone online to talk about it. Some people kind of picked it up as an ongoing true crime case. And because Sarah was a 17-year-old girl, she was quite active online, asking different true crime YouTubers to cover the story of her parents' murder or commenting on friends and family that were processing and talking about the loss. Now, before we hop into this one, I just want to say what I've told you so far is all I know. As I've seen the story on my timeline or any articles that came up, I kind of just went by it because I was waiting to hear more with you guys. So I'm not going to be presenting this per se with everything. I'm going to be watching it unfold and learning this new information with you. And we're going to let the experts at Law and Crime explain a rundown of what's gone on.
This teenage girl allegedly killed her parents in a case that had gone unsolved for months. That is until this week. Her parents were found shot dead inside their home in February. Their 6-year-old daughter found them. But you will not believe the next part. We sure couldn't. The alleged teen killer spoke at the funeral for her parents at their church.
Although there's nothing we can do to bring them back, we still have control over how we treat people.
And then let's talk about.
Wait, are these her TikToks? They don't know it, but a year from now, me and my 5-year-old sister would find them wrongfully shot dead in our home and won't get to watch me graduate high school, see me walk down the aisle, and couldn't even say goodbye.
The TikTok account that we found. Just wait until I show you she said about her family and this case on social media. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart. I will tell you, this story made our jaws drop when police in Georgia this week announced they had made an arrest in the case of a murdered couple that had gone unsolved since February. Here's a picture of that couple, James and Kristen Brock. They lived in Carrollton, Georgia. It's a little more than an hour's drive south of Atlanta. This couple, they were beloved members of their community, devoted churchgoers, and they also had a 6-year-old daughter together. In fact, James posted this on Facebook on February 19th, saying, quote, "When I'm down and don't feel good, I find comfort in this little girl." Police say he was murdered within the next 24 hours of that post. Reportedly, it was that little girl, who was 5 at the time, who found him and her mom, Kristen, after they had been shot. It was on February 20th that law enforcement responded to this home in Carrollton and found the Brocks shot. They were both in their bed. This case went unsolved for months. Kristen's dad, in the days after the murders, offered $5,000 for information that would lead police to the killer. He told the Atlanta Journal-Constitution that these murders...
I'm not sure if this is something where somebody just wanted to create a really fucked up story that they would be the center of or something, or if this is somebody that thought that they were going to do something horrible and then be a victim that like lost their parents for the rest of their life. I've seen that in quite a few cases before. And the worst part about it is it's shocking how often that people can get away with that sometimes, because nobody wants to point a finger, especially at a 17-year-old girl, in something like that. I don't know where this is going, but that's what's in my head. So you can look for signs of that, or just something else might completely unfold.
This week, police announced that they know who the killer is, and it was someone that he knew very well.
Today, we can confirm that an arrest has been made in the case. Kristen Brock's 17-year-old daughter, Sarah Grace Patrick, has been taken into custody and charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault.
I'm going to say this right now. I think they have some very solid evidence against this girl, because the conviction in which That lady just said that. Because if she really did this and she just intended to play victim and get away with it, the story's not going to be very airtight. She would have been hiding behind the fact that, well, nobody's going to point a finger at me because I'm the victim. I'm 17, like I'm a young girl. So I'm wondering what they know.
And charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault.
Here's the mugshot of the alleged killer, Sarah Grace Patrick. Her mugshot was given to us by the Carroll County Sheriff. Sarah Grace was 16 years old at the time that she allegedly shot and killed her mom and stepdad. And she was very active on social media, and it is shocking what I'm about to show you.
I wonder what she's
Here are
watched.
pictures that we found on her social media with her boyfriend, and wow. When I talk about social media, that is a shocking part of this story. I'll get more to that in just a moment. Here's what we know about Sarah Grace. According to law enforcement, she lived in the home at the time of the murders, but had moved around with different family members within the last couple of years. But on the night of the Brock's murders, she was the one who called 911. I actually saw someone comment on social media that it was suspicious after gunshots went off in the house that it was the 5-year-old who would find their parents dead and then reportedly have to alert the teenager inside the home that something was wrong. Here's what law enforcement said when they were asked about an alleged motive.
We are still working.
Okay, before we play this bit, I want you guys to listen to the conviction in which this lady is relaying this information. Like, they know something. They feel very confident about this.
We are still working with her diligently. Our investigators have been speaking with her.
It is correct that she was the one who made the 911 call, correct?
Yes.
At what point did investigators begin to focus on her as the suspect?
So I believe in the beginning of any case, everyone's a suspect. I think I told many of you that when we were on scene that day. However, as an investigation continues and everything ebbs and flows, like I said in my press release, mountains of evidence has gotten us through here today. Lots of processing, lots of working with our law enforcement partners to get us to where we are today that honed in on her as a suspect.
I don't know why, but something about a lady prosecutor from Georgia, it just feels like she gonna get you. I don't know why. You're a lady prosecutor from Florida, Georgia, something like that. New York, yeah. They gonna get you.
As police are still searching for a reason Sarah Grace would allegedly do this, it's important to note that Sarah was public about the loss of her parents. She even spoke at their funeral. Look at this video per WSB TV.
Although there's nothing we can do to bring them back, we still have control over how we treat people.
We were shocked.
Look at her crying during this speech. Imagine the floods of people that came up to her afterwards and told her how sorry they were and how many comments and messages and things that she got. Like, yeah.
To bring them back, we still have control over how we treat people.
We were shocked with what we saw specifically on her TikTok. She presented herself as a victim, a young girl who lost her parents to senseless violence. But again, as you watch these, law enforcement say she's the one who did it. Look at this post. This is from March 1st, just weeks after she allegedly killed her mom and stepdad in their sleep. She posts a tribute video to them with the caption, quote, "They don't know it, but a year from now, me and my 5-year-old sister would find them wrongfully shot dead in our home and won't get to watch me graduate high school, see me walk down the aisle, and couldn't even say goodbye." Here's a video of her crying. This was posted on March 18th, less than a month after she allegedly killed her parents, with the caption, quote, "Please send prayers for healing and a break from everything. I'm so tired, I should probably delete later." And here's a picture from a TikTok on Mother's Day this year in May with Kristen, who she allegedly murdered, with the caption, "But my ultimate inspiration comes from my best friend." And here she is crying, heading to the funeral of the 2 people she allegedly.
Oh my God, dude. It's so interesting because she's only been arrested. It's just alleged, but the level of conviction they're talking about, I'm like, they must have something. But of course, she hasn't gone to trial yet. Now, I gotta say, this is very strange behavior to me. This is outside of the spectrum of grieving that I have ever seen.
Killed best friend. And here she is crying, heading to the funeral of the 2 people she allegedly killed. She also has this picture that reads, "What do you mean I can't call my mom?" And then there's this one that says, quote, "Oh my God. Why me?" Now, these are incredibly sad, but then you have to remember that law enforcement says they have a mountain of evidence
Oh my God.
that shows she is the one who did this.
Oh my
At the same
God.
time, she also appears to have
God.
continued to live her life beyond the alleged cover-up that she killed 2 people. Just a week ago, she posted this video from a beach. In their news conference, law enforcement said that Sarah Grace turned herself in after she was told that she was going to be charged with the murders of the Brocks. Her biological father, law enforcement say, drove her to the station. The sheriff's office also said there was a, quote, mountain of evidence that ties her to these murders, but they wouldn't go deeper into that at this point. As for the little girl, the Brock's daughter, the half-sister of their alleged killer, the now 6-year-old girl.
Yes. Once again, I want to remind you guys, she has only been arrested. They're saying there's a mountain of evidence. We wait for the trial. Generally on this channel, I don't cover anything that is developing, but I'm catching up on this one with you guys. It's an exception. But Brocade said something that, yes, I agree. They said also every single one of those posts is about her. That is true. It's never about her sister or about her mom or about the family suffering or anything. She literally posted, "Why me?" Isn't that strange to you?
The now 6-year-old girl who allegedly found her parents dead in their bed, law enforcement says she is now living with family members. Joining us now to talk about this case is retired crime scene investigator Alina Burrows. Thank you for joining us on Law and Crime.
I never know if we like guests or not. Let's give her a shot. Let's see what she has to say.
I mean, it was shocking to hear that a 17-year-old, she was 16 at the time, would allegedly kill her mom and stepdad, and then to see the social media. So there's a lot of places we could start. I guess for you, when you look at this suspect, Sarah Grace Patrick, what stands out to you?
You know, obviously it's, as you say, it's a shocking case because we don't have a lot of parenticide cases, right? We don't have a lot of those, especially with a female suspect. So there's some different kind of unique aspects of this particular case. Am I shocked by the behavior afterwards? Not really. I've seen this behavior before. I think people are kind of familiar with Casey Anthony, who was obviously ultimately found to be not guilty, but her behavior after the crime shows maybe a disassociation. Maybe there's some attempt to detach from that aspect and just continue on living life. That's not something that we haven't seen before, so it doesn't really surprise me.
In this next video, they talk a little bit more about the comments that surfaced that were from Sarah Grace's TikTok account, where she was asking true crime creators to talk about this case.
I have more to tell you regarding the teen girl who was arrested this week for allegedly killing her mom and stepdad in Georgia in February. Her name is Sarah Grace Patrick, and she didn't just post on TikTok mourning the loss of her parents, she did a lot more.
Why would you ask me to cover a case where you are going to get arrested for taking your parents?
Search up Brock, Kristen and James Brock. They're my parents, and oh my God. I heard that she sent these messages. I had not read any of them. Yes, there has only been an arrest. Yes, she is not convicted. There's not been full-on proof that she has done this. These messages that we're about to see are real. This is actually her messaging creators asking them to talk about this case. So take what you want from it. They're my parents, and out of nowhere on a Thursday's Feb, someone came in with me and my 5-year-old and shot my parents brutally, leaving them for me and my sister to wake up to. Oh my God, even the way she typed that, it's like so sorry, I cannot imagine. I'll research and cover their case. Please take care of you. She said thank you. I feel like it's
encouraging them to look into the case. One of those creators is going to join me to talk about what Sarah Grace Patrick told her and the chilling comments she left on her account that you
BOZE, check your DM requests. Okay, there's nothing there. There's nothing. Okay. It's It's blank.
It turns out she also reached out to several crime creators on TikTok, encouraging them to look into the case. One of those creators is going to join me to talk about what Sarah Grace Patrick told her and the chilling comments she left on her account that you just have to see. We're on the case presented by Law and Crime. I'm Chris Stewart.
Lion mentioned this earlier. The posts are always about Sarah. She said, "It hits me. I'm hurting when I see my 5-year-old sister screaming, crying for her mommy and daddy." This one is also a very odd post to me. This is also a very odd post. This is like posting a caption with your sister's most traumatizing moment of her entire life for as long as she lives. And Sarah Grace, regardless of whether you think she's guilty or innocent, the most traumatizing moment of her sister's life has been written in text for everybody to view and then send Sarah comments to say, "I am so sorry." No matter what happens in the outcome of this case, that right there is pretty gross to me too.
Dad,
yes, in a glamour shot with the hair
Sarah
done.
Grace is the one who is now charged and accused of being the person who killed that little girl's mom and dad. Sarah has also posted about needing help with her mental health and needing to call a hotline for that and being depressed.
Guys, we are entering a new era. I will understand your trauma a little bit and your little patterns, and I will, oh my God, okay, well, what would you like me to do? Would you like me to hold that, or would you like me to talk to you about it? Okay, great. I'm not fixing nobody. I am no longer over understanding people, okay? I feel like people have used mental health or I'm like depressed to get out of way too much shit. Like, yo, you could be depressed all day. I'm the queen of depression, okay? But like, we still get up, we still pay rent, we still do our shit that we need to, we show up for people that we have to, you know? Sorry, I'm just venting. Cause do y'all know what I'm talking about? Is it just me, or has it gotten out of control?
But before I get you caught up on the social media part of this story, and that is a huge part of this story, I want you to know about the victims, James and Kristen Brock. And from what we have seen, members of their community love them. Their family loved them. They loved their faith. They were avid churchgoers in Carrollton, Georgia, a small, quiet town where stuff like this rarely happens. Damn. James and Kristen, they were a blended family as well. They were parents to that young little girl and the mom and stepdad.
Sarah was just the mother's biological child, but her little sister was the biological child of both of them. You know, so for some people, that creates something.
She posted these videos, montages within days of the murders, memorializing her parents. This one says that,
dude, holy shit, this really is all about her, because I hate to wait so long.
Of the murders.
My ultimate inspiration comes from my best friend. The language is so strange. Not a single slide is about anybody else.
Memorializing
the dazzling woman from who I received my name and my blood.
Her parents. This one says that she sleeps so she can see her mom, Kristen, who she allegedly killed. Other images show her crying with makeup running down her face, asking how someone could take her mom and stepdad away, people who she loved so much. She was a regular commenter also on posts and stories related to the murders that she allegedly committed, accepting plenty of thoughts and prayers. You can see on this one, she replies less than a month after she allegedly killed her parents with, quote,
"Oh, some people are saying some of those are song lyrics
on top
that
of
she picked out."
Sarah Grace.
I know I have said this several times throughout this video, but somebody else just said in chat, all of this for attention, blah, blah, blah. We do not know. I do not know. I only threw out my theory in the beginning of this video because a lot of us were scratching our heads like, what could this be? How could this happen? And so I wanted to throw a little baseline out there, but I want to remind you guys, there has only been an arrest made. They seem fairly confident about it, but as always, wait for the trial. You can say, this is crazy. You can say, I will be watching with a critical eye. You can, be curious about updates as, we kind of move through this case together. But I just want to remind you guys, there has only been an arrest made. So don't make a comment that you're going to regret later.
She appears to have taken the initiative to reach out to TikTokers who cover true crime, encouraging them to research, report, and talk about the murders that she is now accused of committing, as if she was someone looking for justice for her parents.
Y'all, this is Sarah Grace, and she messaged me back on June 3rd and just said, search up Brock case.
This is the account called Allegedly Reportedly. It has more than 130,000 followers. Not only did Sarah Grace reach out to this account, she left some chilling comments. Look at this.
And she commented, thank you for spreading awareness. She also replied to this person who asked what.
Oh my God. Oh my God, this is so dystopian. I am trying to remind myself that these are normal pattern things that happen in true crime, but they have just become modernized. What was the weapon? Was it a green gun emoji or sword emoji? And Sarah Grace responded and said, green gun emoji. And then somebody responded and said, so sad.
Now, it is unclear as far as the investigation's concerned whether or not law enforcement has that murder weapon and whether it's been recovered, but that's not the only comment. Look at this one.
This person commented and said, from an investigative standpoint, it would seem that it was someone who knew them, hoping for answers and swift justice. Sarah Grace, the daughter and stepdaughter of these victims who has now been arrested, said most definitely was, since they knew the house.
That was on June 9th. And allegedly...
Okay, I'm so sorry. I just have to point out how dystopian this shit is. After the arrest was announced, people came back to find Sarah Grace's comment while she's in jail. And somebody wrote, the whole time it was you. And then somebody said something else. And then Owen responded to the potential killer saying, tisk, tisk. How are we in the middle of this?
Definitely was.
How are we in the middle of
this?
That was on June 9th. And allegedly, reportedly, wasn't the only account that Sarah Grace contacted. This is from the account Jade Talks Crime.
This TikToker, Sarah Grace Patrick, age 17, reached out to me to tell me that she wanted me to research the case.
She also apparently spoke with this creator on the phone as recently as last month.
So Sarah reached out to me on Sunday, and we spoke on the phone, and we spoke via text. And she asked me to speak on her behalf about the night of 2/20/25.
Here's what Sarah Grace allegedly told TikToker Kelly Brown.
Sarah has confirmed that she was awake the night of the incident and heard nothing out of the normal. Those are her words, nothing out of the normal. But she did hear James's LVAD machine, which is his heart machine that kept his heart pumping.
One thing I'm very thankful of in my community is that we normally don't do any cases that are active or ongoing. In this case, this is just so outrageous. I want to know what is going on. Nobody mobilizes to let's find the evidence. Let's do that. In my community, if you're new here or whether you're just kind of feeling out the rules or whatever, we wait for the police reports. We wait for the trial. We wait for the verdict. We want to read the affidavit. We want to hear like any of the press conferences, but we do not join Facebook groups and try to put the pieces together. We're keeping updated, and that is simply it. Okay. So also pat yourselves on the back for not being an insane community in the true crime bubble. I very much appreciate you guys for that. Yes, graceful side-eye.
She did hear that LVAD machine, which is his heart machine that kept his heart pumping. She did hear that alarm going off throughout the night. So those are the two things that she wanted me to share with you guys.
According to the Carroll County Sheriff's Office, James had survived major heart surgery and he may have been in need of a heart transplant, but he was a fighter, and a tragic part of this story is that his life was cut short this way. Not only did Sarah Grace post on TikTok about her parents like this one on Mother's Day, she also would post images as if she was continuing to live her life. It was just a week ago. She posted this from what appears to be a trip to the beach for the 4th of July. Deputies say even though Sarah Grace was 16 at the time she killed her mom and stepdad, she's now 17 years old. She is facing charges as an adult. She is facing 2 counts of first-degree murder and 2 counts of assault. Another part of this story that we're watching is deputies say that more arrests are possible.
More arrests are possible. Listen, guys, you know, it's very rare that I do active, open kind of cases. As more updates come back, you can subscribe here, you can watch here, well, whatever. I generally will watch these guys with you, and we get updated at the same time. So just know my channel is not me full on presenting everything to you. It's us figuring out together, hearing it for the first time in real time.